This is Rowena Dooley asking Soul citizens to report for duty.
Hey, greetings. Welcome back to Soul Citizens. I'm GriffinGamingRPG. Today is Sunday, July the 7th, and we are so glad to be back today for another round of conversation about the game that we all enjoy, love, and are looking forward to and get mad at, called Star Citizen. And I am here today with two people today. We've got two folks that are here joining us. One of them being our very own yoyoMeg. Meg, what is up? How are you?
Doing super good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. You got that Drake stuff going on behind you. I don't know.
I have to text you. Hold on.
Well, that's very cool. All right. It was good. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're doing well. And we have and we've got a special guest today, right, Meg? We got a special guest.
Yes.
Someone's part of the Soul Citizens family for a while, who's been hanging out with us for a while, and we decided to have him come on as a special guest today. The one and the only. You've seen his name before in chat. The one and the only, Captain Jones. What's up, Cap? How you doing?
What's up, Soul family? Glad to be here.
Yeah. Now, you know what? Captain Jones, Meg, is the only person who actually started doing something that I actually like that he did. When he comes in the room, what do you always call us when you come in the room? You call us
friends.
Yeah, he always says soul friends, right? And remember, that was the joke from Jarrett last year at CitizenCon, you know? And actually, I like that now because he says, "What's up, soul friends?" You know, so that's kind of sticking now. So we'll have to give him credit for being the one that uses that title. But we're happy to have you here. Cap, tell everybody just a little bit about you, like your experience with Star Citizen, how you got into it, or how long you've been, whatever you want to share.
Yeah, I've been in Star Citizen since 2014, so not one of the original backers from the Kickstarter, but been around pretty long. So I was back there when we really had nothing to do but walk around in the hangars and hope and dream that one day we'd be able to get them ships and fly around. So been around there. The reason I'm here, gotta thank AMD. So I got a free promo from them when I was buying some hardware. I never heard of Star Citizen before that. Picked it up, downloaded it, turned it on, realized that it was really about nothing at the moment, but as soon as there started to be a little bit of progress, especially once we was able to actually walk out and see the verse for the first time, been hooked ever since. So I pretty much, and I'm in the verse all the time.
Yeah.
Since then.
Yeah.
Take a break here and there, you know, get frustrated like everybody else, but definitely love the game.
Now, I always found when you told me that story, I kind of like my jaw kind of dropped a little bit because some of you guys know that CIG has done these deals with AMD and Intel. And back in the early days, we didn't really think much about it. We kind of dismissed it. You know, when they did it, we just saw it kind of like as a marketing thing, and it wasn't a big deal. And little did we know that later on, certain items that CIG has put up for sale actually kind of blew up within the community. And one of them is that Mustang Omega. I've only seen that ship in game, maybe I've been here since 2013-14. I think I've only seen that ship in game. If I've seen it 5 times out of the last 8 to 9 years, I'd be surprised. And the most recent time was when you flew it out one night. We were out by a river or something, and you decided to fly out there with it. And it was actually really cool to see. But there was a little ship, but it's very nice. The other one is like the Saber Raven. The other one is the what's the cat called? The bike, the space kitten. Space, what do they call it?
Star Kitten.
Star Kitten. Yeah, the Star Kitten. That was another one.
Right.
So, you know, when that stuff pops up, y'all, you know, you might want to think about grabbing it. Have you ever seen the Mustang Omega Meg? Have you ever seen it before?
Yeah.
You have? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Hard to get to. I don't know what they go for now. Do you know what they go for now, Cap? If somebody wants to get one?
Yeah, if you're looking on a gray, you're looking at about close to a G on a good day. The lowest I've seen is 600.
Wow. Okay, yeah, too much for me too, Fast Card. I agree. All right, well, anyway, we want to say thanks to Captain Jones for joining us today and being our special guest. We are talking about today the rule of cool. This phrase has been tossed around for a while in the Star Citizen community. Meg, what do you hear that phrase, the rule of cool? What pops to mind for you?
Honestly, not much.
Not much?
Yeah, I mean, if in terms of Star Citizen, like that's what first comes to mind. It just looks cool. It's something that I'd be interested in. I mostly like ships because of how they look, so yeah, that's what I think of.
Yeah. Sometimes, let me ask Cap that same question. What pops in your mind when you hear rule of cool?
Every time I hear it, I can't stop thinking about the time the devs answered that question. You know, everybody's always talking about this shouldn't work this way, this shouldn't work that way, and they just got tired once, and they're like, "Hey, it's a rule of cool."
Yep.
So, I'll think about it. You know, it's that it's building the belief of why something shouldn't work. If it's that cool, nobody's going to want to do it, right? So, perfect answer, rule of cool.
It's an interesting balance for rule of cool. Some people would call it form over function sometimes. And this idea that, like, sometimes you'll look at a ship and you'll see something. Like, I'll give you a good example of a rule of cool item. On the MSR, it's got that radar dish on top, right? Because you got the MSR, right, Meg?
Yep.
But the dish don't do nothing. But it makes it look cool, right? I wish it did do something. You know, I really do wish it did. But it does add something to that ship with that dish being up there. Now, I think that we do often want to tell CIG, hey, you know, it's a data runner. We really need to put that antenna into some good use. But anyway, that's an example of rule of cool. But then there's sometimes when maybe stuff may be cool, but maybe it's not a good idea. So maybe we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So today, we want you guys to kind of join along with us with this. And we're going to be dealing with this aspect of things that people in the community have said, or CIG has said is cool. And maybe you'll disagree. Maybe you know, I'll say this, if you think it's cool, thumbs up it. Okay. If you think it's cool, thumbs up it. If you don't think it's cool, put a thumbs down in, okay? Or you can just put a sad face if you don't like it, a happy face, whichever one you want to do it if you don't have the emote, okay? Y'all ready to start this off? You two ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Ready.
Let's do it. All right. Let's see. We got to change to here. And our very first candidate for the rule of cool. Very first candidate. The Gatak Sayulan. I'm going to go to our special guest first. Let's hear what his vote is. Is it cool? If it is, what's cool about it? If it ain't cool, what's not cool about it? You can give me both sides of it.
Hey, if this can't be cool, nothing is. It's definitely cool.
Okay. Give me your cool factors. What do you think about this so cool?
And for one, most cool factors come off the look. So, you know, what's cool is pretty much subjective, but, you know, it looks different from everything else we have in the verse. So, flying around in this, regardless of how it functions, you know, people are going to be like, oh, you know, it's a starter ship, it can't do this, it can't do that, but it's going to turn heads when you're flying around. People are going to see it for the first time, if you see it very rarely, and just that it looks so different, it's so diverse from what we're used to flying around in, that alone makes it cool.
Okay. Any uncool features about it?
You know what? I really can't think about anything uncool because the cools are pretty much cosmetics most of the time.
Okay.
One thing that I kind of in that uncool category that I have with this ship, and I have a lot of the alien ships quite often, is that it doesn't have bespoke alien tech when it comes to the weapons. So I think the weapons are a little boring. It'd be nice to see something very foreign and very alien on a legit alien ship. So this isn't it's not an inferior ship that's a clone or a copy or a remake. This is an alien ship with alien tech. I would like to see something that's actually cool when it comes to the guns.
Yeah.
More than just the Panther that we get on everything else.
Yeah. Okay. Meg, what about you? Is it cool? If it is, what do you like about it that's cool? And tell me what's uncool.
Yeah, I think overall the ship is really cool. The way it flies. I really like whenever you lay down in bed, that cave, like it feels like you're laying down in a cave. I think they really killed it with all the interior features of the ship, the way that things open and close, the weapon rack, just things like that. You can like change the lighting in the ship. 3 different floors. Like, I don't know. It seems like such a small ship. It still technically really is.
Yeah.
It's just so massive.
Yeah.
The one thing I think that is uncool is the cargo. Which, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's just unfortunate that you can't put like a 2 SCU. It's not that deep, in my opinion, but it's like, what if you find a 2 SCU crate? Like, even though you can carry, I don't know if it's 4 or 6. Like, you can only actually carry individual SCU crates.
Right.
And then, as always, I cannot wait for the day that we can like snap 8th SCU boxes on grids. But that's an all ship thing. So I can't wait for like a cargo ship, because this is a cargo starter, right? I'd like to see a ship that can carry some more stuff like that.
Yeah. I think they this is one of those ones that they toss into that title of a premium starter, because it is a step up. For me, yeah, I think it's cool. Almost Over said something about, like, to him everything in it is cool. The lighting inside of it, the interiors. To what you just said, Meg, it's this. I know this is an old school statement, but for those of us who watch Doctor Who, it's like the TARDIS. The TARDIS was this phone box, but you go inside and there's all this space. And whenever I step inside this ship, that's how I feel. It's like you go in and there's actually 3 floors in this thing. It's like a lot of. It seems like it's tight, but there's a lot of room. But it's all vertical, right, versus horizontal. The other thing that I think is cool about it is, and this is a CIG cool, it is the first step towards CIG giving us a ship where they introduce some of the physicality of the alien race to the ship. I know it's a dumb thing, but the bathroom has something in there that's supposed to be used for a Xi'an, individual versus a human individual. And so I know that they make these ships, or they're manufactured supposedly to be sold to both, Xi'an as well as a human. So I like the fact that they incorporated that aspect of the lore of it. The uncool for me, definitely, I would go at Cap's point about it needs to be more alien. The weapons should be either bespoke, or should be something that maybe later I don't know, but maybe later in the game. I know when we watched the Dax video, when he went to Pyro, they talked about the fact that there were, what's their names? The Vandul weapons. I would love to see Gatak or Xi'an weapons, and not use human weapons. I know Jade always mentions this all the time about how we still bring human elements into something that's supposed to be alien, and we need to have a ship that feels alien. The design on this, definitely unique. The vertical takeoff and landing, very unique. I do wish that they had the landing system was designed with cameras, though, so that when you want to land, you can land a little bit easier. I don't have problems landing with it, but I know I watched people when this thing first came out, and they were leaving from Microtech, flying in and out of the hangars, going out horizontally, and they were bouncing this sucker all off the ceilings. The sparks were flying everywhere. I wish that they do make it a little bit more friendly for people to be able to fly. But there's also the side of mastering it, which is fine too. To me, it's like learn how to fly it. It's a different type of flight model, and I like it a lot. So, okay, that's it. So are we voting for this ship as being cool? Is that yes?
Yeah.
Cap, you good for this one being cool? Okay. All right. All right. Let's go on to the next area of coolness here. Oh, the Rangers, the Tumble Rangers. I'm going to go to you this time, Meg, first. Let's talk about this one. Motorcycle bikes in the future, 900 out on the road. Is it cool?
Absolutely. I have a 3-pack. I'm biased. These are the best things I've never touched in the game. I'm super excited for the cargo version.
Okay.
It makes me feel like I'm playing Death Stranding. I'm not really too into racing, but I mean that's going to be sick. I'm excited to see what that looks like compared to some other hover bikes. I mean, obviously it's not a hover bike, so probably won't keep up with that. But I'm too excited to see what this actually looks like in game. If just based on looks, super cool.
Okay.
In game, how it works, time will tell. But yeah,
I don't know if you can notice that. I noticed this when we saw these in the IAE when they were in the hologram suite. Those bikes are big. They're not little. Yeah. If you know what I mean. If you see really look at the positioning of where the people are standing behind them, these bikes are pretty large in size. Yeah. But
no, sorry, I was just gonna say because of that, it makes me sad that 2 people can't fit on any of these.
Yeah, that is interesting too. None of them do accommodate 2 people, do they? Not one of them.
No.
Wow. Okay. What's uncool about these bikes? Anything?
That part right there. Can't fit 2. It would be cool. I mean, I don't know how they do it, maybe, but like even if they added a module for the pods you can attach to motorcycles in real life.
Right.
Modularly attach that. Yeah.
Great. Sidecar. Wow. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, Cap, it's on you. Give me your cool and your uncool.
The bikes, they're cool. How can they not be? So, they're also unique because they're the only ones that actually wield bikes and not on that float through land and space like all the other hovers. Yeah. So, yeah, cool. Got different looks, got different variety. I thought they were the coolest that I had seen until the Nox came out. So I'm a Nox fanboy. I think it's a little cooler. But yeah, it's cool. If I had to jump to your second point and say what's uncool, the limited capability would be nice to have something else other than that Drake catastrophe of the Dragonfly, where 2 people could ride one. And if one of those versions looked a little more different than the other, like make one look a little more. Make the race version look a little bit more sportier than the combat version. Yeah. More than just a livery. Yeah. Other than that, thumbs up on the cool.
Yeah. Drakazox, thank you for that resub. Thank you so much. As always, we appreciate you for 35 months. Thank you. About to hit that 3-year mark. Jeez.
Oh yeah. Captain Jones' name is Captain Serious One right now.
Yeah, I know. Wow. Okay.
I'll take that as a compliment. I'll be serious for a while.
Okay. Awesome. Thrakosox, thank you again. There's something you just said that was interesting, Cap. I didn't think about this. I do wish that variants looked a little bit more variant. Beyond maybe this has guns, this one doesn't have guns, this one has fins. I wish that you could look at it and see that it's a variant of it. And not just the paint job is different. I know that there's the one that's the livery, but I agree. The racing one probably should have had a little bit more something to it. And maybe it does. I'm trying to look at these. Is the racing one the one on the far left? Is that the one that's the racing one?
Middle.
Which one is?
In the middle. The red one.
The red one's the racing one?
One in the middle.
Maybe that's just Tumbril, because the Cyclones they all look the same too.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, I understand the functional one is different, but I wish there was just something, just some type of tweak physically to them that distinguishes them.
It's very small, but they do have differences.
Yeah.
I can tell. Yeah. Like the top front all 3 of them look different on the top.
Yeah, I guess they do.
The one all the way on the right is has guns. The one all the way on the left is cargo, and it has like the cargo on the left, right, and top.
The Turing's got the windshield. Is that what I'm seeing the difference is?
Yeah.
Do the other 2 have the windshield on them or no?
No.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
The one on the right has like these bars on the left and right of the front, and the middle one doesn't.
Okay.
They're like small. It's definitely not like huge, like in your face differences, but
just little differences. Okay, well maybe I'm my eyes are getting bad, so maybe I'm just missing it.
I'm a Ranger fangirl, so I know everything.
Okay. Fair enough. What's cool? Motorcycles for most folks are just cool. Whether or not they exist like that in the 900 years from now, I won't get into that debate. But what's uncool is the fact that we don't have roads to ride them on in the game. And maybe that's why we don't have the bikes as well. But I am, now that they started incorporating things like the distribution centers, I want to start seeing, I know that there'll be situations like weather and other things that'll prohibit flight and moving into someplace. I do wrestle with the argument of hover bike versus road bike. What will be the reasons why I would choose to ride? I mean, other than options, don't get me wrong, options can be enough, but I also would want to have some type of real world reason for why maybe it's best for me to come in this way versus the other way. Maybe bikes, for example, are bad because if you get EMP'd, your bike gets shut down. But that same thing would happen with this bike because I'm sure that electronics could mess with this. So I don't know if we were just doing it other than just options and to give people options to do, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But I would definitely like to see roads come in so that this becomes a thing for all the wheeled vehicles for that matter. But as far as coolness, hey, again, you said it earlier, it's a motorcycle. Got to be cool. Okay. All right. Anything else?
It lost a little bit of cool points for me when the Pulse came out. So to speak to your point about why would I use this over something else, for me it was now the Pulse being out and being able to fit in everything. I'm kind of on the fence, but I already own it, so
yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
Still cool though. Still cool.
Yeah. Okay. Cool enough. All right. Number 3. I know you all can't see this on the screen probably unless you got a nice big screen in front of you, but on the side of that 600i is a name. And the thing that we're talking about here is naming ships. My question to you, Meg, is naming a ship cool or could you care less? How do you feel about being able to name your ships?
I feel like we should get to name all of our ships.
Okay.
I think it's super freaking cool. A way for us to be able to choose some unique things. Unfortunately, whenever those names are already chosen, but for the most part, you get to name your boat just like you would in real life. It's amazing. I love seeing the name of my ship on the side of the ship. Sucks that it's, is what it is. Held behind some money, or like, I think the Corsair, like you had to buy it in concept. That's uncool. That is so uncool. Things like that. But other than that, super cool.
I was going to ask you for your uncool piece. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, the uncool is that it's locked behind money or FOMO, or that it's just not available to everybody for free.
Okay.
And I don't know how all that would work in the future, but yeah.
Okay. Cap, how about you? What's the uncool about naming your ship?
Yeah, I co-sign on Meg. You can't. It's nothing cooler than being able to have that little bit of self-expression with the name. We don't have a lot of customizing options when it comes to ships, and being able to make that ship your own. If you got the 600s on the screen, it's going to look like everybody else's 600. Sure, you put a livery on it, but that's about it. But the name, the MMO, the verse you live in, that name's going to add some uniqueness to it. So yeah, naming your ships is cool for sure. And then uncool, obviously, same thing. We can't name all our ships yet, so don't really get it. They gave us the ability to name ships for a while. Named some, even back then it was a handful, and then they just kind of cut it off. So yeah, they want to give this the maximum cool. Let us name all our ships again. Let us see the Carrick's name again too, because if you got a Carrick, some reason you can name it, but the name doesn't show up.
Yeah. Yes, I think it's cool. I think that step toward making a ship your own is really big for people. Even though these are not NFTs, we still feel like we have some connection to them, and anything that we can do to make a ship unique makes it stand out to us. Because like you said, a paint job is okay. But until we get to the point where we can have much more unique customization with paints and things like that on the exterior, that name is the one thing that definitely stands up. And I actually like looking up at other people's ships and seeing what people name their ships when I walk up to it. I think it just kind of automatically associates that ship to the person and doesn't make it feel generic. The uncool on this is definitely, we don't know what CIG is going to do later on with this. To your point, Meg, is it going to be where I have to pay $5 if I want to make my ship customized? Or will it be, we'll open it up to everybody if you have a ship It's uncool that there are also other people out there who have not been able to take advantage of this. I have several of the ships that you can name, and it felt really good to be able to do that. So it's kind of sad that there are other ships out there that don't have that ability for the players yet. But I think the more that we're able to personalize ships, I think people will feel just much more connected to the ship that they backed and that they got. So that's my feelings on that one. I'm glad they used the 600i. That's all I got to say. All right, let's hit the next one here.
I'm gonna roast the
Chris.
600i.
Yeah, so just so you know, you just gave it a name to my Thulian. It's going to be the TARDIS once we're able to name it.
That's a great name. You're right. Okay, this is a real tough one here. Cap, I'm coming to you first this time. The Javelin. There are a lot of people, when they see this ship, the first thing they say, that's in the game? Man, that is cool. Give me your pros on this. All right, what do you see about this ship that's cool? And then what do you think is maybe not so cool?
First thing that makes it cool, shout out to Admiral, is it's a capital ship. So it's the biggest capital in the game. It actually looks cool. It's the only destroyer. It really has no competition, so it's easy to be cool when there's nothing else to compare it against. But yeah, it's definitely a cool ship. Would like it actually to be able to see it in action, actually see those cool things working to really measure if it's cool or not, because the only time we see it out in the verse is when we're doing Xenothreat, and if you've ever played Xenothreat, the Javelin does nothing. So you spend an hour prepping it to come help you out, and then it just sits there. But in theory, aesthetically, it looks cool, has tons of armament. I would say it's pretty cool. I would like to see a competitor to this ship in this class in the game eventually, though.
Fair enough. Any uncools about it?
Uncool. I'd say that it's not something that comes with the looks, but I just think it's going to be too much to fly for it to actually be cool. You know, crew complement. You know, it'll have all looks and maybe no function. So I guess it still is cool, right? Because roll cool is form over function. It has the functions, but I don't think we ever be able to maximize it. So that hits me a little bit uncool. I wish that they built it out in a way that it could be a little bit useful to the average player.
Yeah. Shady Face said it's the uncool factor, the amount of credits it's going to cost to run and maintain it. Meg, what about you? What's the cool? What's the uncool about the Javelin?
Yeah, the cool is that it definitely looks cool. I don't think maybe I have seen the interior. They do the Javelin tours, don't they?
They did that short. Yeah, it's only a segment of the ship. Remember they had the Javelin tour, but it's just a segment of it that you saw.
Yeah, I love like one of the things I find about Star Citizen that is super freaking cool, just in general, is ships with a bunch of like moving parts. A lot of things that you can interact with, open, close. So like this is just one of the largest that you can do that with. So like, it wins just because of that. Like this sucker is like it's gonna be somebody's ship that you can fly around, pull out. I don't know if you can store it anywhere or something, but we'll see what all that looks like. But yeah, like obviously the uncool is how often you're actually going to be able to get into this bad boy with the right amount of crew. I'm definitely ready to hop on somebody else's ship, but this ship is, I mean, if you just take away all opinions and stuff like that, like this is Star Citizen, like this is the game. Like this ship really is going to exist with all these other ships and planets and systems, and like dude, like this thing is going to be freaking massive and working, and that's just going to be super cool.
Yeah. Almost Over said the cool, it looks like a giant railgun. The uncool, the front part isn't a giant railgun. Okay. Okay, let me take my cool to a different space. This is the epitome of cool for me because I think about what the technology was and everything to make a ship like this in a game. To have a ship this massive, after taking the walk on the Idris recently, like doing a real good walkthrough and looking around, and then I look at the scale of an Idris, and then I look at the scale of a Javelin, and I'm like, that is unbelievable. As an old gamer, to think of a entity like this being in a space where you are, and that the game doesn't crash, you know what I mean, or the performance doesn't fall off. I mean, that's just like super, super amazing to me. So for me, seeing them be able to create this level of gaming technology, walking on these ships, decks, you said it earlier, Meg, things that operate, panels, components, all this stuff, the cabling, the wiring. I mean, it's just amazing to me. So I think it's just super cool that they could take this level of scale and put it in a game and we can enjoy it. And not just one of these, but there will be several of these flying around in the verse, hopefully without a lot of stutter and all this other stuff. But I think, first of all, that's like super, super cool. Also, the other cool factor I'm going to throw in here is the fact that, and I know some people might feel a certain kind of way when I say this, but it's cool to me that Chris Roberts is creating a game that's going to get players back to playing together cooperatively. You can't run this ship by yourself. You need help. And even though people talk about how many of these might be in the universe, the question will be how many will actually be in the game at any given time. And so people will have to coordinate to be able to use a ship like this. The numbers have varied on the Javelin, barring the idea of blades and NPCs and blah, 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 blah. I think the complement on this ship is varied anywhere from 24 people to 80 people. But man, when I walk on the deck of these ships and I see these different stations located where people will have to work and operate, stuff's just not there for decoration. I think that's cool personally. The Uncool, some people will probably say that $3,000 price tag is no joke.
Yeah.
The Kraken runs what, 1,700. The Kraken Privateer is 2,000. I would want to see this, and maybe it's there because it helps keep not having too many of these in the verse, even though this thing still flies out the window when it goes on sale. But I almost wish it was a little bit more within reach financially. Not for me, but $3,000 is a lot of dough. And to invest $3,000, hopefully you're doing it because you're backing the game, because that $3,000 purchase does not guarantee you'll always have people available to fly a ship like this. So that might be the uncool part. You've got it, but how often will you have the opportunities to take it out and do it? Unless you're in some type of major org, and that org is very much engaged in battles frequently and stuff like that. The other uncool part will be repair bills. How much money it takes to repair this sucker when it gets damaged or something. But that's about all I got. You guys got anything else about the Javelin?
I was gonna say, to sort of flip off of what you said, I feel like that is and to also go off of what you said earlier about people coming together and playing. Mm-hmm. This hopefully will be purchasable in game or a craftable. I don't know how all that's gonna work. So it's not something that you alone are gonna grind for. Mm-hmm. You and your friends, your org, people who you're guys in chat, come on, we need people to go do this today, or we're really trying to raise money for this or whatever. I see people so many times asking for money, but I'm sure people would be oh, you're trying to get a Javelin, I'll help. Just to be able to get a bunch of different people together, meet new people, to afford this ship in game. That's gonna be, I cannot wait for that. That's gonna be super fun. I know a lot of people who do own this ship, so that probably won't be an issue, but to actually play the game and have this as your goal, I can't imagine the adventures that we'll have to go on in order to obtain that.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be pretty fun.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. Okay. All right.
Scared to see what that price tag is, though. If it's going to be compared to $3,000 real money.
Yeah, I mean, not to be funny, but I can't even fathom what a ship like this would be. I would almost think that if you start having to get ships like this, like a Idris or a Javelin, I don't know how the game lore will work with that. In other words, I don't see you walking into New Deal and buying a Javelin. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's something that you have to do for the UEE or what, but how to acquire it in game is going to be interesting. I'm sure there will be, like you said, some folks out there who are willing to go for it. I just don't know what the process will be. Maybe if you come out of Squadron 42 with a good score, you know what I mean? Something like that. I don't know, but you ain't gonna be able to just go into Costco and pick up one. That's for sure. All right. Let's hit this next one here. Oh, Here we go. Now we get into the controversies. Okay. The Chairman's Club, aka Concierge. Let me go to Cap again first on this one. Cap, is it cool? Is it cool to be in the Chairman's Club? Or, okay, let me not ask you that. If it's cool, what's cool about it? And if there's uncool, what's uncool about it?
Yeah, so Chairman's Club, it's really hard to come up with some cool. So the things that are cool are also uncool. So when you're in the Chairman's Club, you get the ability to see ship packages and things that you normally wouldn't see. However, you gotta spend a bunch of money to see that. So that alone makes it uncool. And then the perks in the Chairman's Club just really aren't there. So you know, the levels and what they give you does make it a little uncool. So there's some cool aesthetics to it. You know, there's the card that they gave out back in the day, and you got the cool logo and all of that. But I think there's a long way to go before you can really say being in a Chairman's Club is cool. You saying you're in a Chairman's Club just meant I blew a bunch of money.
Yeah.
You might be happy that you spent the money, you might not, but there's nothing really too cool about it.
Yeah. Meg, how about you? Chairman's Club.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably 50-50 just because the cool stuff doesn't really exist anymore. Like, it's the same thing with having, like, your citizen number. Like, you're actually not really that cool unless you were here in 2016 or whenever this game first came out, which is pretty lame. They don't really give out stuff anymore to the new people, and I really think that their levels are outdated. I don't want to say there are a lot of people that are Chairman's Club. Like, it's not that
exclusive.
Yeah, right. Like, so that's probably why, like, they stopped giving out stuff, because it's not that hard in this day and age to spend that much on a video game. At least even in just over time. But yeah, I think the levels are very outdated. Hopefully that's something we see like tweaked in the future, some more stuff added. Yeah, just something. But yeah, it sneaks up on you. I don't know if it's a goal for some people. I think the perks really come at, like, is it 10K, 15K? Like, that's probably like Chairman's Club in my opinion. So those perks are pretty cool. But all of that just for that ship. But I mean, at the same time, it's a Kickstarter type vibe. Like, not really Kickstarter anymore, but you're backing an alpha. I don't know. I don't know. I think I don't know. It's just a little weird. I think they might just be in a weird stage of, like, are we an alpha, or, like, we've raised so much money, but people will still spend money. So do we really need to change anything? I don't know if they care that much about all this stuff. But yeah, it's probably 50-50 for me, because at some point I'm hopeful that the perks will come through and people will get some stuff. Missing out on that card and some other things that people got, that's an L.
Yeah. Technomancer, thank you for the follow. Glad to have you here with us. Unknown Loader, thank you for the follow as well. Appreciate you joining us this Sunday. Okay, Chairman's Club. What's the cool thing about it? There was a time when you used to hear about the Chairman's Club, and you're like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool, because it just sounded like a cool thing. The only thing I feel that's cool about, I'm not going to say the only thing, the one thing I can think of that's cool about it, from my experience, and it's different for different people, because some people say they haven't had this experience. Most of the time when I've done customer support, tech support, if I submit something through Chairman's Club, I get a fairly quick response. And when I say fairly quick, 24 to 48 hours. I know other people who are in the Chairman's Club who said they put in requests and it's 72 to 96 hours, almost 5 days later. I've always gotten a fairly quick response within 24 hours to 48 hours. And usually once the conversation starts, the conversation happens very quickly until the ticket is done. That's been my general experience with Chairman's Club. The uncool part for Chairman's Club to me has been the fact that CIG has said several times that they were revamping it, that they were going to put some work on it and some emphasis on it. And the most that they did was add some items to the Chairman's Club store. and that was it. We do get newsletters, but the newsletters are just enhanced versions sometimes of the other stuff that's coming out. There's not like you get any great new information ahead of time. One time they did do something that was cool, and I'm going to share this that they did, and then I want to ask you guys a question about this. When I went to CitizenCon in 2018, they actually did a thing that if you were in the Chairman's Club, and depending on what tier you were at, they had lounges for you to go to during CitizenCon. So if you were a donor at the 1000 level, there was an area. If you were at the wing commander level, they had an area. And what they did was, it was like an area at the center where you could go and chill with other people that were at that same level. They had a bar there where you could get drinks, and you could just chill out if you wanted to, if you didn't want to be sitting in the convention. And I went, at that time I was at a certain level, I went in, and it was a nice space. It was outdoors, it was breeze, there was a bar there with a bartender. I mean, it was really nice. There weren't a lot of people in there though. And mostly because even if you do go there, most of your friends are maybe not at that level. They're outside, and you want to hang out with your people. So I think a lot of people may have been curious about it, but that was it. So my question to you is, CIG has a tightrope to walk when they do this, right? Because everything we do is supposed to be basically about supporting the game. And they're also very conscious about not doing something for certain people that they don't allow for other people to. So, like, let's say, for example, when I went to that bar, I think that they should have made it you could bring 2 guests or bring a guest with you, not just me. That way other people could have access to it that maybe aren't at that level. And we're going to talk about that with another aspect of the game later where you are able to do that. But they didn't do that in real time. It was only people who had that level that could go into that bar or that lounge. Can CIG, I'll go to Captain Jones first. Are there things the CIG can do for people who are in the Chairman's Club and not offend or ignore players who aren't in that area? Because, is there a perk? Is there something that they give you as a Chairman's Club member? Like subscribers, for example, if you're a subscriber, you get a 10% discount that you can use. Once a year, they give you this 10% discount you can use. If you're an Imperator or another level, you get a 20% discount. Nobody really beefs about that, right? Because people are contributing and they get that. But for the Chairman's Club, other than saying that there's some Chairman's Club gear, like I got a shirt here that's a Chairman's Club shirt that's got the logo on it, the hat and stuff like that, that's spending money. But can CIG do something that doesn't make people feel like, hey, how come you're doing that for them? We're not getting that. They used to do a thing, I think, Cap, you said this earlier, where when a ship was coming out the day before, it used to come to the concierge. Wasn't that what they used to do? Like on Thursday, it would go to concierge for the sale?
They give you a 24-hour head start to spend your money. Yep.
Right. And was it discounted too? Was it like 5% or something? Or
it was never discounted. It was just early access.
It was just early access. Okay, so that's early access to spend your money. Okay, no big deal. But I think you understand my question. Do you think that it's best that they, is there a way to do that? That, you can say thank you to these people a certain way without offending or, creating a block for other people who maybe, didn't have the money or just decided not to invest that type of money or put that type of money into the game?
Yeah, absolutely. All they have to do is give out more cosmetics.
Cosmetics, okay.
Cosmetics are not no competitive advantage to AA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got the chairman's logo there. So imagine that every time a ship came out, they gave all chairman clubs a paint, a livery, that logo on it with their color scheme, whether you owned the ship or not, just went to your hangar.
Yeah.
No one would really be able to cry foul because,
Yeah.
Me having a chairman's club paint job on my new shiny Hornet doesn't make that Hornet any better than the next person's Hornet. So there's little things that they can do that are cosmetics. Doesn't cost them any money. It doesn't lose them any money.
Yeah.
And it's just quick little thank yous.
Yeah.
And that's what you usually see in the industry after a while. Once a developer hits a certain level of capacity, they start giving out them digital goodies. And I think that'd be an easy win-win for them if they would do something like that. Because right now, there's stuff that they give you at levels, which we've all talked about, isn't a big deal, isn't that great?
Yeah.
And if you buy a new concept, they usually have a skin that's unique to that concierge package, but giving out some things and some branding. It could be a concierge hat that you wear in game. It could just be little things that they give out that's not going to be a drain on their resources.
Yeah. I love the idea of like the you've got the Invictus jacket. There could be a concierge jacket, right? Something simple as that, right? Or like you said, the cap, the cosmetic things. That would be great. I would agree. Now, for those of you who aren't concierge, just so you'll know, there are different levels that you go up in concierge, and they give you items at each level. And like one of the levels, you get a pistol. Another one, you get the pistol and rifle. Another one, you get the monocle and the hat. Another one, you get a gun for your ship or something. I forget. Another one is you get the soundtrack. You get some music, MP3. And then you get a certificate, a PDF that you could print out. There's no really big major perks. Some of you guys have seen people walking around with that all gold armor on with the gold flight suit. You get that. But yeah, things like that. Meg, anything that you would like to see them do that would, if people who are in concierge, you think that idea, like he's saying about cosmetics, would be a good way to go?
Squadron 42.
What do you want about Squadron 42?
For them to give us everybody, not just people who were concierge.
Oh,
March
you mean
23.
You mean?
Oh, you want to retro it? Yeah, I agree. It should be something that
I
happens.
mean, it was like, again, like it's a cutoff. Like they keep doing that. Just cut off things for anybody who played before the time, and it's just weird.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that caught a lot of people off guard. And that's been through phases. Meg, I don't know if you know that. When we first came in the game, you got both of them automatically. And then later, they changed it where you could get them separately. And then later, they took it where it disappeared, right? So it has changed, as a process leading up to the launching of the game. And I'm sure the next time we see it will be when it's at its retail price, right? The discounted price won't be there probably next time. So yeah, I can see how Chairman's Club could be cool. And I think, Meg, you said something earlier that's important. In the early days, there was a small minority. They used to call them the whales. They were the people that were in the Chairman's Club. But I don't even know what a whale is nowadays. $1,000 back in the day felt like a whale to me. I don't know what a whale is now. What would you guys call a whale in Star Citizen at this point?
10K.
Really?
Or anything above 5K.
Really? Okay, anything above 5K. Yeah. So you say 10K mark. If they're at Wing Commander, they're a whale. Is that where we are? Okay, Cap, what do you say? I
agree. 5K is a down payment on a car and all kinds of things. So yeah, you're definitely a whale. Then once you hit that 10K, 15K, if you own a 600i Executive Edition, I don't even know if you're a whale anymore. It's whatever's out there, whale, Kraken, Space Whale, something. But yeah, it's levels that go beyond just whale at that point.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right, let's hit the next one here. Oh, good googly moogly. We got to talk about this one. All right, Meg, going to you first. Let's talk about, is there a cool factor? Is there an uncool factor? The 890 jump origin. I ain't gonna be mad. Go ahead.
For me personally, it's just like it was cool at first, and now it's just cringy. I feel like people are like, "Have you ever seen an 890 before? You wanna come see my 890?" Like, oh no, I don't know. It's just it doesn't. We need more ships that are that big that are different. Like, I'd rather see someone's reclaimer. It is pretty neat though.
Okay. So what's is it? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hot tubs, like it's the captain's quarters is pretty lit. Bar, that's fire. But it's not that cool to me.
Okay. So
it's not that cool because it's massive. Okay, I'll take it back. Like, let's take it back. We can all change our minds. Everybody calm down. You're allowed to change your mind. It is cool that but again, I still think there needs to be other ships of this size that are different.
Yeah.
I'm holding out for like the Odyssey, but it is fine that it has like a hangar. You could fit so much stuff in that hangar, and the cargo bay drops down.
Yeah.
So it's like you got the top, you got the bottom, you got a personal elevator, you got docking collars, so many, but at the same time, that's kind of uncool because there's a lot of points of entry on that ship. I don't know.
Let me ask you a question, because you said something that intrigues me. At first, you said it's the only one. Let's take a company like Crusader. If they made a luxury liner to compete against this, would that be more like what you're talking about? Because like this is the only one like this. I mean, with that, or do you just say when you say other ships? I was wondering, do you mean like there needs to be some competition to this because it's the only one we have? Is that what you're
competition to it.
Okay.
I think all ships should have competition to their ships.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see just the Vulture. I want to see more types of salvage ships of that size.
Yeah.
Just from different manufacturers, but like I love the idea of the A90, but I also don't love the idea of the A90. I love what the A90 is not about. So like the A90 is like a party boat, right? Like it's for like a luxury get-togethers and stuff like that. It's a yacht. I want maybe I want like the Ironclad or something instead. I don't know. I just want something that's gonna put in some work.
Yeah.
I think that's why. It's just an opinion.
That's fair.
I don't. Yeah.
That's fair.
I don't think I
ships
want
are
the 890 for the 8.
Some ships are going to be picked cool and uncool based upon a person's gameplay, right? What they like, and just something if you're not interested into it.
Yeah.
I don't want you to put cool on it if it's not, to you, it's like, nah, not my thing.
Yeah, it is. I do like. So I think overall uncool, but I do think it's cool that it has the hangar that you can fit so much stuff in, the cargo area you can fit so much stuff in, a lot of places to like just move around. Again, a lot of moving parts and stuff like that. There's parts of the ship that don't actually like have any function, but a lot of ships don't have function or like their full function and everything that's in the ship.
Right.
But the secondary area that you can man the ship. I didn't even know until probably like 2 months ago that was a thing. That's pretty freaking cool. Basketball court, like what are we talking about?
So the elements of the 890 are cool, but the idea of the 890 ain't such a cool thing.
maybe it is cool. I don't know. Okay. I'm talking myself into it.
All right. No, fair enough. Zombie Pig's trying to push my buttons by talking about, the Drake needs to make a competitor. It needs to be a Drake ship, but I won't even go there. Captain Jones, give me your cool, uncool with the 890.
Yeah, so the 890 is cool, but very short term. So, it's cool, wears out pretty quickly. So the first time you see it, especially when it first came out, its size, the luxury, all the things you didn't see anywhere, like Yo-Yo talked about the basketball court. I walked in and I was like, what? Basketball on a ship? That's cool. But I don't have a basketball, so now it's uncool. So it's there's so much that's cool about it. And then it wears off once you realize I really can't do nothing with it. So I think once rule of cool, form over functions, plenty of form. I think to add to some cool on this ship, it needs to have some functions. So hopefully once they start opening up verses, in lore, they got the places where you can only go to the parties if you have a luxury ship and all that.
Right.
Maybe it can get cooler, but cool fizzles out. You know?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, and then it doesn't have an enduring coolness to it, though. You know?
Yep.
Once you see it a couple of times, once you do 890 jump mission a few times, it kind of fizzles out on you.
Yeah. Okay. For me, the cool that CIG introduced something into gaming that I think I never would have expected to see. The cool that there is a group of people who this meets their need, people who maybe aren't into other traditional aspects of gaming, that they're open to the idea of based around touring, transport over. I mean, it's not a big deal to go to a game and there's a bar, but there's another thing when you have your own bar, right? Or when you have your own restaurant. And so those things are maybe things that people have thought would be cool, but you never thought you'd see in a game. So those elements for me are there. The one thing that was cool when this ship was in the PTU, some people who got to test this when it came out, and I got to go in and see it. When it was in the PTU, everything in that sucker was accessible. Like if you went into the bar, you could pick up the wine glasses. You could pick up the bottle of Jean-Luc. All that stuff you could pick it up. And I remember saying to myself, man, there's 1,000 entities on this ship. How are they going to do this when it goes into the universe? And then when it went into the PU, everything was glued down. So the fact that there's no functionality in the ship is a bit frustrating when you walk around in there and you can't pick up the champagne bottle, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. So yeah, I agree. I am looking forward to the idea of this ship being one of those ships like the Kraken Privateer, maybe like some other ones, where you have dedicated NPCs, that your bartender is actually not, it could be a player, but even more that you can hire an NPC to work as a bartender, or to work in the restaurant area, or to work in the kitchen. I'm hoping that the AI technology and the NPC technology gets to a place where that becomes a factor for a ship like this, and that my guests can come on and just actually be guests. The uncool side of this, for some people, doesn't bother me, is the fuel consumption in atmosphere. It burns fuel like crazy, but that's what yachts do. Yachts are not fuel efficient ships, but they do burn fuel like crazy. Ship is fairly sturdy. And the uncool thing is that there's no competitor to it. I do wish that there was a Crusader version of this. Maybe one other manufacturer who puts out another type of large scale touring transport social ship in the game, because the 890 is just one, and I would love to see one or two more, and that could happen over time. So everything's a test when it's the first time around, so hopefully we'll see some competitors to this ship. But that would be it for me for the 890. And yeah, that's it. You guys got anything else for the 890? We'll jump into one more before we take our commercial break, or maybe we'll take our commercial break now. Yeah,
I was gonna say what Shady said was I think with what Shady said, I could probably say that the 890 is pretty cool. I'm just biased because I don't really fly with it, or use it with more than like maybe max like 3 or 4 people. So with it like fully crewed, or with just so many people on there, I probably would have a different opinion. But I've never experienced that. But
yeah, have you?
Yeah, because
did you do any of those 890 parties that some people were throwing? Did you ever go into any of those? No. Okay, because Jade will tell you about that. I know Jade's done them. I think Admiral's done them, and they say that's when you really see the ship, in its doing what it's supposed to do. It becomes a social space. People are having a good time, and that's usually role players that are doing that. But even then, I remember I watched who was it that was doing it? The guy who makes the pizzas. Forgive me for forgiving his name. Oh my God, how can I forget the man's name? Y'all help me out with our pizza maker in the community. Yeah, Authy was doing the thing. Sigelian once went on, and I remember the first time they did one, he brought a box with him, a 1/8 SU box, fully loaded with food and drinks. And he would go around in the bar and deliver drinks and food to everybody, giving them orange apples and drinks and stuff, and he was just having a good time doing that. So anyway, I think that functionality definitely needs to happen for a ship like this to come alive. Otherwise, it's just a museum. That's all it really is, Okay, thank you. Yeah, there's the pizza. Thank you, Danger Hobo. All right, listen, let's go ahead and take a commercial break, and we're going to come back, pick up where we were for right now. Just a 1-minute break. Thank you guys for being here today. Hope you guys are enjoying our cool versus uncool. Don't forget to put your thumbs up and thumbs down when we bring these up on the screen, so we can kind of see what you guys think about these, okay? And we will be back in just a hot second. Okay, we are counting down to our subscribers. We want to tell you guys thank you as always for supporting and for being here for us. We really, really appreciate you guys. Just always being there, throwing the support out to us and giving out gift subs, all that good stuff. Also want to remind you that we just recently started a new series called The Producers. I think we did episode 3 just recently. And it's called Alternate Facts. So if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Check it out. Think you guys will enjoy it. We always try to talk about things that are tied into Star Citizen, myself, Captain Serious Fun, and Fastcart, the producers of Soul Citizens. Meg, tell people where they can find you real quick. Where can they find you? You
can find me on Twitch at yoyoMeg, or on Twitter at I am yoyoMeg.
I am yoyoMeg. Captain Jones isn't streaming, but we're going to make a little announcement about Captain Jones later, so stick around for that. We're happy to have him on with us because he's a good friend of ours, one of our soul friends. All right, we are coming back in 2 seconds. Boom, we are back. Thank you guys for being here with us today again. And a special shout out to A Terrible Ananzi. Thank you for that sub. Appreciate you. 7 months. Thank you for being here with us as always. We appreciate you. All right, we left off on the 890. We're going to our next category. Let me go to you, Meg. Let me challenge you, Meg. Have you ever been to the Million Mile High Club?
I have not.
You haven't?
No.
Really? Do you know
What is
about
it?
it? Oh,
Wait.
okay. She
I
doesn't
think
know.
I saw it in a video one time, but not really. I don't really know anything about it.
Oh, this is going to be good. Okay. Captain Jones, I'll go to you. Million Mile High Club. Have you ever been there before?
Yeah, I got to tailgate somebody in a couple of times. So I'm not a member myself, but yeah, I've been in there.
Okay. All right. Well, let me tell you what it is, Meg. Million Mile High Club is a club that's in Star Citizen. It's in ArcCorp at Area 18. It is an exclusive club for people who are members of the Million Mile High Club. Now, how do you become a member of the Million Mile High Club, you may be asking, right? Okay. It used to be that if you gave $10,000, you got access to the Million Mile High Club. And you could bring your friends, and they could come up there and hang out with you and party. Okay? But CIG changed that because I think there were too many people hitting the $10,000 mark. And by the way, I'm sorry, Meg, let me be real specific. It wasn't that you spent $10,000. You had to buy the $10,000 package. So you couldn't work your way up to it. It had to be boom, okay? Then, if I'm not mistaken, they changed it. And now it's $15,000 that you have to give. Okay. So I've been there twice. And it ain't because I paid for it. Believe me, I did like Cap. I had some friends in high places, and I went with them. So let me go to Cap. Cap, when you went to the Million Mile High Club, what was your feeling? I don't know if you, Meg, if you haven't seen it, Meg, there's an entrance to go there. They have a bouncer outside the thing and everything, and there's a red carpet, and then you get on your own exclusive elevator, and then you come out in the club. So, Cap, since you've been, give me your thoughts about when you went to the Million Mile High Club. And is it cool and uncool?
Oh, I move it to the uncool category. Not because the Million High Club isn't cool, but when you get inside of there, aesthetically, it's a little boring, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, you run to look to the big fish tank on the wall. That's kind of cool, but
yeah,
I think when you get into an area that's that exclusive and you really want to see, in fact, some people never even heard of it or know it exists. It'd be pretty wild when you get in there. I think the creativity and imagination puts it in the uncool category for me. You know, cool is subjective.
Yeah.
For me, it's aesthetics. I think it could look better.
Yeah. Meg, after what I explained to you about the Million Mile High Club, do you think it's a cool idea? Uncool idea?
It's tough because I would put this in another 50-50 for me because people's money is what, that's why we're able to still play this game. It's like why it's still being cooked, worked on. But I overall just these days just cringe that real money has to be spent and a lot of it to get access to a lot of different things. I hate the idea that this can't be a play to achieve item. You have to pay IRL. And a lot. $15K? I'm going to college.
Yeah, one thing we didn't bring up is the alternative way of getting into this club is
referrals, right?
So, that is one way to get in without any money, but it doesn't move the cool needle for me at all.
Yeah, what is that referral bonus, and who is actually seeing that out of all of us?
Y'all check Meg's referrals, y'all. You know she's popular. She probably got it. She don't even know it.
No, I'm pretty sure it's high. It's up there.
I would think so. Yeah, I mean, the idea is cool, right? And the only thing I give this a pass on is the fact that you can bring your friends there. It's not exclusive. Yeah. And this ties back to what I was talking about when I went to the Austin the Austin Citizen Con. that I would have been cooler if I could have taken my friends in with me into the area so that they could have hung out with me. I don't like the fact that it's so exclusive that other people, they may not have the key to get in, but if I want to bring them in, I like the fact that I can bring my friends in. So if you're Meg, if you want to say, all you double doggers, we're going to meet up here, I'm going to throw you guys a party at the thing. To me, that's cool, right? You guys can have your own space somewhere in the game. Not have to worry about being at Wally's and people messing with you, and you've got your own area. But again, that high level of being able to get in, there's a part of me that says it's kind of nice that there's something in game for those people and that they can share that with their friends. So that's the only thing I'm willing to give it a pass on. Aesthetics, Cap, I agree with you. They got to step it up. It kind of has a certain old school feel, like an old cigar room kind of feel to it, where a bunch of old guys hang out and sit around and puff cigars. The fish tank and stuff is cool. The artwork is cool, but it needs to feel more modern in its styling. I know Shimpas was saying it needs windows. I agree. You get on the elevator, I would think this would almost be like penthouse level in R-Corp. And you can be surrounded by a view that shows you the entirety of, Area 18. That would be something I want to see. That enclosed feeling also makes it feel very claustrophobic. It's interesting to go up there. And one of our good buddies took us up there. It was Dig That took us up there, and we had a ball while we were up there just checking it out. But after a while, it loses its luster, and they need to make it something that really is meaningful to me. It needs to be the premier place to go if you're going to do something like that with your friends. So that's my feeling about the millionaires. Now Meg. So go back and check your referrals. You never know; you might already have a key, and if you do, just let us know. We'll come hang out with you up there. All right, let's check out our next one here. Oh, good googly moogly. Meg. Cool. Uncool.
I think this is very cool. This is me?
Yeah.
I think it's very cool. Man, every year, like clockwork, right? It goes up in price, and so do...
new ships come out every year. Yeah, new ships come out every year. Right?
No, that's what I'm saying. I meant it goes up in price, but at the same time, all of the articles are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's $50,000. They're scamming people. No, this is fantastic. There are people who are collectors. There are people who back the game. There are people who gambled and lost it all. No, I'm joking. This is phenomenal. I don't see anything uncool about this.
Okay.
Like you said, it's a new one every year because they add more ships. So it's a chance for people to just keep getting more ships.
Do you think that
their single pack?
Do you think that the heat that they catch about this, is it the dollar amount? Is it the fact that people don't understand how it got to be? How this came to be?
How it got to be.
Yeah.
Even if they explain it to you, they don't give a frick. 48K? Are you serious? I don't listen. Different tax brackets. I'm not above it. I understand. I'm a lower tax bracket here, so 48K is a lot. Even if you're a higher tax bracket, you're kidding me. That's not a lot to you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be spending that money. I'm not here to tell anybody how to spend their money. If I had 48K, I'm spending 48K. I love this game.
Right.
But no one gives a frick why this is 48K. Have you ever... you can probably actually tell me another game where this has happened, but I personally have never experienced another game where I can add to cart $48,000, a $48,000 item. I haven't seen a 10K. The only time I've seen stuff like that is Kickstarter.
Okay.
That is a lot of money.
It
but
is.
Again, I understand why it's that much money, and I think it's cool.
Okay. Fair enough. Is there an uncool element? Is there an uncool element?
To Panda, no, same thing. Like I said, different tax brackets. So I'm not going to argue that. Money is money. I'm not at 15K either. So,
right.
It just depends what you want to spend your money on. I just don't like these. Everything in this pack. Okay, not everything. There are some things in this pack you can't get in game, but I don't know if you can or cannot get it when the game actually releases, like the piano and in Connie, the yada yada.
Right.
But everything in here you can get in game pretty much.
Okay.
That's the difference between this and the chairman's the Mile High Club.
Right.
To argue what you just said.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Panda. I can work in game and get all this stuff. That's the difference. But No, yeah, like, yeah.
Okay.
I know plenty of Legatus owners.
Okay. Cap, what about you? Legatus.
Yeah, I would say you could put in the cool category mostly, or I would say what puts me into the cool range for this is being able to get some of them exclusive items that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So we talked about before how there's so many people that's long-time backers. A lot of these things came out a long time ago. So many things people never knew existed. So if somebody's going to drop 50K on the game,
Yeah.
might as well drop 50K and get everything
Yeah.
that's available to them, because there's people that spent this much and more without the Legatus package.
Yeah.
You know, there's people where this looks like big money takes small money, but they don't have the Legatus package, so they still don't have everything that's in this package. So yeah, it's cool if you're cool enough to drop this much money. Package, it's a cool thing to have.
Yeah. What's the uncool for it? Anything?
Uncool is you don't actually see it until you've already spent a lot of money. So it's this 48K is behind another paywall. So I think it not being available for everybody, so I should be able to come in day one, you know, maybe after free flying, decide, you know, I love this and I want everything. I have to spend a whole bunch of money before I even know it's available. Then I got to make decisions. Do I melt stuff? Do I ask for refunds? You know, how do I offload all of this I've spent money on? I can't remember what the amount is, but it's pretty high. It's like 5K, maybe 10K before you know you could spend 48K. So, yeah, that's what makes it uncool.
I got a weird pro and con on that, and I agree with you to a degree. The pro and con is that originally it was always out there in the beginning, and when it was, CIG caught heat for it. People used to complain that it was almost like a ridicule thing, like, oh, can you believe they actually have a package for 48,000? Or it wasn't 30, it was like 25,000 back then. And they people used to focus on that so much, I think it became bad PR for CIG. So then CIG moved it where I think you had to spend, at first I thought it was only $1,000. It may have gone up, like you said, capped to like 10 grand, but you have to be higher before you can finally see it in your window. Otherwise, if you're at the lower levels, you don't see it. You don't even know the Legatus package is there. Now, the one thing that CIG will do for you, if you decide that you want to upgrade, CIG, some of you guys know this already, anytime you do any type of transaction over $1,000, there has to be a connecting with CIG in order to move things around or change things or whatever. So they do work with you if you decide, hey, I think I want to go for this. But let's give the history on Legatus a little bit. Legatus came from, and Captain kind of started going down this path. Legatus came not because CIG initiated it, but it was because the backers initiated it. The backers, at that time, we had a package called, I think it was called the Completionist Pack, if I'm remembering correctly. And Fastcart, correct me if I'm wrong. And the Completionist Pack was at 15,000. That was the highest package, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day. And as CIG continued to build out ships and make more stuff, and as when they make more ships, if they add those ships to the package, then that's what makes the price go up, right? Because they've built 6 more ships. You add up the price of those ships, comes out to another $3,800. So now instead of $15,000, you're at $18,500, and it continues to go up. And it's also slightly discounted because you're buying it in a package. Well, the people who were the completionist people, the people who wanted everything, said, hey, why don't you guys just create a package that has everything in it and then price that? And so that's what CIG did. They made a package for the people who said, we want, to Captain's point, everything. And that package number continues to increase. It goes from 25, it went up to 37, and now it's at 48. And that's because more and more ships have been added to it. The content increases, the price increases. So it's not like CIG went out and said, hey, let's come up with this package called the Legatus and let's see if we can get more money from people. No, it was the backers who wanted a package that had everything. This, when I say everything, all the ships, all the posters, all the awards, all the wall plaques, all of the statuettes, all the pianos, everything is included in that package. Okay. So that's where the history of that package comes from. All right. Do I think it's cool? I think it's cool that they're providing something that backers have asked for. I think it's Is it uncool? I don't know. Only because the fans asked for it. I don't know. I know people think that spending that type of money is ridiculous, but the people who spend this type of money, they pay $48,000 like you and I spend $400 or $4,800. So it's not hitting my wallet. It's supporting the project. And usually, if they've got that type of money, if they got enough money to spend $48,000, unless they're a trust fund baby, that means they're probably pretty smart about their money, and they must feel that it's worth it for themselves, even if it's just because they're collecting. But that's their business. So I got no problem with it. That's what they want to do. God bless them. You know, that's what I say about that. Okay. Alrighty then. Yeah, people spend that much money at the golf clubs. Golf course, rather. Okay. Golf clubs. All right. Let's see this next one here. The Nomad. Captain Jones. The Nomad. When it came out, I feel good. Go Mob, our good buddy Go Mob, one of the Soul Team members. 43 months. Thank you, Go Mob. Hope you and the family are doing well. Hope you had a great holiday, my friend. Let's go back to the Nomad here, Cap. When it came out, Consolidated Outland decided to break the mold from their Mustang designs and bust out with this ship that levitated. What do you think about the Nomad? Cool, uncool?
You already hit on the cool when you said it levitated. So, that little levitation landing gear that put it on cool factor. In fact, whenever I used to stare at my Mustang back in the day, wishing I could fly it, before they did the Mustang rework, they reworked it. You know, it had that same kind of landing gear look to the Nomad. So I had always wished that would kind of have that look as well. So yeah, it's cool. It was the first consolidated outline with, you know, full interior, so I kind of got to see what that design language would look like, and you didn't have to imagine what it'd be like once the Pioneer finally hit. It was the only space truck we had. You know, we can carry around a few things in there, carry around actually quite a bit of SCU compared to the other ships its size. Yeah, it was a lot of things cool about it. So, and it didn't look like the coolest of ships. You know, I don't necessarily like its looks. They had some cool functions, you know, things I didn't see in other places, plants, and it reminded me of more like, we talked about the 890 and things like that. So it reminded me more of the ships that had a lot of stuff in them, a lot of directions, decorations, and pictures and stuff that you just didn't see in ships that size. So the ship that I had closest to it at the time would have been something like a Titan.
Yeah,
it was really barren on the inside. The coolest thing about the Nomad is it just looked like you can live in it if you needed to.
Yeah. Okay.
One thing that I always thought was not cool about it is not having a way to get to that back cargo area.
Yes.
The ship.
Yes, absolutely. So, that's my uncool. Yes.
You know, there's a little tiny window. It always tricks you to make you think that if you clicked enough things, there's some way to get back there.
Right.
But yeah. They want to move that cool needle over. They need to let you be able to walk back there some kind of way.
Absolutely. Meg, for you, Nomad, cools and uncools.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that it's a truck. Being able to put things in and out without needing to actually like open a ramp or anything, and being able to get in and out of that ship without fearing that like someone else is going to get on. It's clear as day if someone's in there. Them adding the tractor beam is pretty cool. Yeah. Uncool. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I like its size. It's small and can hold quite a bit. I don't think you can close the door when you sit on the toilet. That's probably the uncool.
I think you're right. I don't think you can. It's real tight. That seat is right up to the edge of the door.
Walks up that ladder.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm with
True. Yeah, I'm definitely with y'all though about not being able to access that back area.
Yeah.
Just a little. I do like that little window though.
Yeah.
And that you can be back there and not fly out during quantum.
Yeah. Yeah, my cool will be definitely the levitation. I didn't like the design at first. It was a little boxy, but I slapped that Love Struck paint, that purplish kind of paint on it, and I got it on my bike too, on my quad. and that quad's on the back of that thing, and it looks amazing. I love that look just for myself, if nothing else. I don't even think about that ship in battles or fights or anything like that. To me, that's just a great ship to travel around in, land my ship, take my bike off, get on the bike, ride around. To me, that's the scenario. The commercial for this is what what this ship is for me. I agree with Cap completely about that back window, back door thing. That was the one thing that I wish that they gave us access to, that we could open that window or that back door would go up and you could walk out on that deck in the back. That would be the perfect second entrance for this ship. It also has a great HUD. It was one of the first HUDs we got where the MFDs were working and all. They weren't just floating in space, but they were actually attached to the panels, which was really nice. Let's see what else about this ship, the Uncool. Oh, this is kind of a weird thing. This was when CIG started to introduce this area of what I guess we would say premium starter pricing, because this ship came in, I think, at $80. It was like, the highest. I think the Avenger might have been the highest one. I mean, if you don't include the 300 series, but you had this jump, right, that went from that $45 to $60 range to a $80 range, which put it $10 less than something like the Gladius. And at the time, now that we have like the Sayulan, and I think there's another ship that kind of lands in there, I'm okay with it. But I kind of wondered why this ship, I wasn't paying an extra $20 just because it floated. I couldn't figure out what the deal was to make the justification for the pricing. If it was $65, I would have been a little bit more. But when it went to 80, I'm like, $80? What's so special about this ship? But you mentioned something that I had forgotten about, Meg, and that's the fact that the ship does have a tractor beam, which I completely forgotten about. And it also has a very unique design. I was on here not too long ago, and I finally asked myself, I don't remember where the components are. Do you remember where the components are on this ship? Do you guys remember? When you walk through the ship, they're above your head. There's doors above your head, and that's where the coolers and all that other stuff is. It's up there. And it took me a while to find them because I was walking around the ship trying to figure out where were the components, because outside it's all smooth and slick, and I didn't see any doors. I'm like, where are they at? And that's when I said, oh, that's where they're at. So it's got a kind of a cool design to it, and in the main area. Yep, thanks, Colossal. Yep, that's exactly where it is. Very cool. So anyway, one thing I haven't found on this ship is a weapons rack. If anybody knows if there is one, please let me know, because I've been looking for it and I haven't found it. So I would like to know where it is. If anybody knows, please give a shout out in chat. All right, so that's the Nomad Consolidated Outland. Okay, let's talk about this one. Meg, I'm going to come to you first on this one. The Mustang Omega. You said you've seen it before. Yeah, what do you think about this thing?
Uncool. No notes.
Okay. Uncool, no notes. Okay, let me ask you this then. How do you feel about the fact when CIG does something like a partnership like this, because this was tied into them doing the deal with AMD? Do you think that those are type of things, like that type of sponsorship stuff? How do you feel about that as far as cool and uncool when it comes to a ship that comes out? Because I think you bought the AMD processor and you got the ship. I think that's how it worked.
No notes.
She must be getting ready to do a deal with AMD, Cap.
No, I don't even know. Well, I mean, in general, I think, that's probably cool. It's probably cool. It's just one of those ships that's like, again, if you weren't there,
yeah,
you're a loser.
Yeah, you missed out on the opportunity. Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I don't really like, I don't care for the ship.
For the Mustangs, yeah. Okay.
I don't like Mustangs at all, really.
Yeah.
So it's not just the Mustang.
Okay. Gotcha.
I mean, it's not just the partnership stuff.
Okay, right, just the Mustangs itself. Okay.
Yeah.
Cap, what about you? And Cap, if there are any differences about this ship, maybe let the audience know. Is there any physical difference other than the paint scheme?
Honestly, no. So it's just a reskinned racer.
So it's just the racing version. It's a Delta. Is that the Delta or the Gamma? Gamma, right?
It's the Gamma. Yeah, the Delta is the combat version. This is a reskinned Gamma.
Okay.
So yeah, it's cool for the very reason of its exclusivity. More so, how you got it. So I think the partnership that they did, Intel had one with the Raven, AMD had one with this, the Intel, and AMD. These were both exclusive from quite a long time ago. I think our Citizen has a great opportunity to do more of this. It's a win-win for both. People are already buying processors and graphics cards. I mean, you have to for a game like this. People, especially the graphics cards, people are trying to bump those up. So it's a great time to do more of this, especially when you look at a ship like this. It's not like they created something new like Intel did. They can easily do more things like this. I think it's cool. This is my game package, so without this package, I would never be playing the game. So I think Mustang itself, the ship entirely, is very cool. Not really. It's so-so. It's not really good at any particular thing. Particularly the Omega is a racer where you wouldn't race with it. There's much better options if you want to hit the tracks. However, the concept of the ship, the exclusivity, and the partnerships that they did, I think that makes it cool. I think they should do more.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're the cool parts of this is I do like the partnerships. The uncool part is that CIG doesn't do them enough. I would have loved to have seen AMD, to Meg's point. Meg, I would have loved to have seen AMD continue to do them, like a series of ships, and they keep doing it. You know what I mean? So, and that way you get the one, like I've got the IAE, it's the IAE or the Invictus. I've got the Invictus version of the Mustang. It's got its own exclusive paint job and everything. But it's the ship. It's not like a skin. It's the ship is it, right? It's not a livery, I should say. It is a skin. I wish that they would do something like where AMD would adopt a certain ship, and each year they just kind of do it. And that way people could, if they wanted to collect them, they could do that if they wanted to. Or maybe if it's not just the next Mustang, maybe it's just something else. But they could still have a feeling of rareness, saying, well, this came out in 2015. But it also gives other people opportunities if they want to collect and get something. I would like to see them do that. And like you said, Intel did the same thing with the Saber Raven when that came up. But when they did that, that was a new ship. And the Raven is still exclusive to the Intel piece. So I like the Mustang. I fly my Mustang. My Mustang is a starter. I like it because it has a storage area in it. I put a big 1 SCU box in it. I can put armor in it and carry it around. It's fairly fast to get it out. It's agile. It's got a great view. But it's a starter still. And that's basically what it serves as for me. It's just one of those disposable ships that if I fly it somewhere, I can leave it and not worry about it. But again, I've only flown on this ship or seen this ship maybe 5 times out of the last 9 years of me, or 10 years of me being in this game. So it's a unique. I think the whole idea of the sponsorship thing was a unique thing. But I wish they would do more things like that for the player base. So okay, okie dokie. This is the next one. Speaking of Saber Raven, going to Cap this time. Saber Raven. Cool, uncool.
Yeah, I think it's real cool. I think the aesthetics on it look good. It actually looks modernized compared to a lot of the jets we have in the game. A lot of our ships don't look. To me, a lot of what we have doesn't look like 900 years in the future. If I could see being quite different. Plus, it's exclusive, so I find it cool for that reason. I'm jealous of people that have one because I don't. So. That envy adds a little cool factor to me too. I know now that they've got the Raven variant, the Firebird and the pending other variant coming out. I know it might be losing a little bit of that for me. But yeah, it's definitely cool.
Okay.
And the uncool would be just the fact you can't get it. So just staring at it through the window, but I can never really go in and buy it.
It's funny that you would say that, and I guess I'll ask both of you this before I ask Meg about her cool, uncool. There were people, when the rumor of the Firebird came out, there were people who assumed that they were going to release this to the public, that everybody would be able to finally get one. Do you think that that's what should happen with ships like this, or do you think that they should stay rare like that? Or do you think that instead of selling it, maybe there's just a way to acquire it in-game later? I mean, I'll go to you, Meg. In-game? Okay. I think I don't have a problem with it being in-game, and maybe it just has a different paint scheme, You know what I mean? Like they keep this a unique paint scheme to the one that came out with Intel and allow people to get the ship, but it's just, different paint scheme, but it has the same functionality. What do you think, Cap?
Yeah, 1.6 said we would be able to get every ship available
Right.
one way or another in game. So they stick to that. There's got to be some way
Yeah.
to get the Raven. So maybe you can have a different paint job. Maybe, the AMD ones that's AMD on it. Maybe this one can have an Intel plastered on it, and the one you get in game doesn't, so that differentiates them a little bit. Yeah, but they've got to figure out a way to make them available to everybody, especially because the Raven, unlike the Mustang, is actually a different ship. So
yeah,
the Raven has functions that you can't get unless you own this Raven. The EMPs and things like that. So it does. Unlike most of the things we talked about, this is one case where someone could have a competitive advantage by owning a ship and owning a function that you can't get otherwise.
Yeah, yeah. Meg, what's your cool and uncool about the Raven, Saber Raven?
Yeah, the cool is the functionality, and the uncool is like what Captain Jones just said. You can't get this functionality unless you were there, so and it's another just uncool thing that you miss out on, that this ship is just shoved in your face by people who do have it, and they think that they're great. So it just becomes less and less cool every time.
Are people shoving it in your face? Oh my god, I never heard it put that way before. I know not to fly mine over to your place next time. I know that's for sure. I mean,
if you want to fly it, but don't land it at the front of a bunker so everyone has to go past it.
Really? Okay, yeah.
We get it.
Okay.
We get it. No, but yeah, this ship is cool. Okay. It's just like the mentality of the people who own it is a little cringy.
Okay.
Not salty, but like y'all gotta agree with that. And if you can't agree with that, that's fine.
Okay.
There are definitely owners.
Really?
I said it earlier with the 892. There are definitely
like
this game.
Oh, I see what you mean.
This game has some people.
Okay. Yeah, because I barely ever break mine out. I only break mine out once. Like I said, I haven't flown this in like 8 months. Let me take this out one time. That's the most I do.
Exactly.
But you said there's some
you are
people
that
who
person.
do it. Oh, Togi's what? That's funny.
You are. Congrats.
That's
you just showed
funny.
yourself.
That's funny.
Okay. But yeah, I do hope that they do something like y'all were saying.
Yeah.
So that we are able to get the functionality of the ship, and I wouldn't care if the ship was pink.
Yeah.
Whatever color you want.
Yeah. Yeah. The cool in it is what the ship does. Has very cool.
Definitely.
Has a very cool commercial. The uncool is that for a very long time it's been broken and the EMP didn't work, and now they recently have went over it and fixed it, and it works well. So yeah, cool ship. Hopefully we'll see it in the game for other people to get access to it, because we only have so many ships that do the whole EMP thing, and this one's kind of unique. So I'm curious what the price would be for this. There is, and Cap, I know you referenced it earlier, there is a new Saber variant that's coming out. We've got the Raven and we've got the Firebird. This new one has a green glow to it. Don't know if that green means anything or whether it's just there for making it look pretty. But the design is different. The wing design is different, but it's definitely from this family of ships, and I am curious to see where CIG is going to go with that, what they might do. So we shall see. Okay. All right. Let's hit on a couple more to go here. Boom. Ship customization. Cap, I'm going to come to you on this one. Some people may not remember this. Some of you may not remember, but there was a period of time when CIG was testing out what it would be like to be able to customize your ship. And the ship that they chose at the time was the Origin 300i series of ships. And what would happen is when you would buy your ship, you'd go to this screen and you could pick an exterior color. You could pick an interior color. You could pick what type of bedding you wanted on the ship. And then you could pick what your weapons loadout would be. And then you could also pick, like if you wanted a coffee maker, a food processor, a photo album, an alarm clock, all these different things. And if your ship normally ran something like, let's say the ship was normally, I'm picking a random number, let's say it was $60. After you bought all that stuff, it might have been $78 or $83 if you bought all the other junk that came along with it. Okay. But you could customize. And some of you see every once in a while, you see a 300i rolling around that has a different type of paint scheme on it. And usually that's one of those ships that went through the customization process. So Captain Jones, let's talk about this. Did you do any of this? Have you seen it before? what are your thoughts about CIG's testing of the idea of being able to customize the interior, not just the exterior, but the interior of your ship?
Yeah, I've seen it. I think it's cool. I own a 315p and a 350R, and a big influence to both of those purchases was this customizing that they offered to us. So yeah, it's definitely cool. Something that we don't have the option in any other ships. Not only are you able to add some variation to what the outside looks like, but the inside, which we can't do in any other ships. And what's really cool about it is it doesn't cost much at all. So as long as you don't change the components of the ship, which costs way more, and actually is a waste, you can just get them all in game. You know, they're different guns and tools and stuff.
Right.
But the actual paint and all of that is really cheap. You're gonna cut it's less than $20 for you to fully customize one of these 300s. The paint that you get, the custom paint that you can only get from this site and not in game, costs less than all the paints that you could buy in the game. So yeah, there's cool upon cool on it. The thing that I say is not cool is we can't do it anywhere else. So when they were testing it, they did say that this was going to be a functionality they were going to expand out to other ships and vehicles, and that was years ago. And I just been waiting because it works. You go onto the website, you customize it, you go on game, everything's there. So I think it's past proof of concept. It'll be cool upon cool. They need, add this coolness to some other ships, and not just the 300s.
Yeah. Okay. Meg, how about you? Cool and uncool.
Basically the same views as Captain Jones, honestly. I did do this myself as well, the 315p, getting the tractor beam, right? That's when I did the customization. The blue, it's like a metallic blue paint. Super dope. I just hope that this comes to be a thing in game that you can get. You can purchase these customizations in game.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, the cool in it is that you definitely feel that you've customized your ship, that it stands out. And this is before we even got liveries for other ships. So this was like the first step of us being able to make a ship your own. This came before ship naming. And you felt like you were finally being able to create a space that was yours. The loadouts were kind of like I kind of wish that the loadouts could have been, instead of them being pre-selected loadouts, they just would have allowed you to pick which weapons you wanted in general, and then just calculated that and added it all up, because the loadouts, they had like 4 different type of loadouts and you couldn't modify them. So I wasn't that crazy about that. But it was cool that you were able to make this ship your own. I think that was the big piece for me when it came to this. And I owned a 300. You guys know I'm an Origin person, so I had a 315 and a 300, and so I did do the customization. The uncool part of this was, let me say this. The assumption was that when this came into the game, everybody would get it, to Captain Jones's point, that they would give it to everybody. But just like ship naming, that didn't happen. And I think that happened that way because it's a part of testing. It was used as a concept to test it, to see what happens in the game. My question to you guys is do you think that when we get to a 4.0, definitely a 1.0, but do you think it'll take, like, that's when they'll do it for every ship in the game? Is that, like, in other words, they're not going to do it before that. They're going to wait till something major happens where they just unleash it. Like all the things that they've been holding back, ship naming, ship painting and customization, blah, 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 blah. They'll just drop all of that in a patch. You know what I mean? And like, we're there now. We're past concept. We're past testing it. We're ready to give it to you. Do you think that's what probably will happen with this stuff?
Maybe.
I think.
Yeah. You go. Sorry.
I'll just say I think it'd be, if we're talking about 1.0, I think it'd be uncool. I think it'd be sad if we're at that level of development where it's a viable product, but we still can't customize our ships or put names on anything like that. Not just for current backers, current players, but you're going to be bringing in a lot of new players at the time, and that's the perfect time for everybody to be on that same level playing field and add some variety between ships and name them and make them look different and stuff like that. So, we, from a proof of concept standpoint, because we're in the alpha, so everything we do is a test upon a test. but we know we can customize the ships.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of us have already done it. We know that we can name the ships because we got names
Mm-hmm.
on our ships. So, yeah, if we can't do it in 1.0, that'd be pretty sad.
Okay. Meg, any thoughts?
Yes, pretty much same. As soon as we're out of beta, is that what 1.0 is, or is 1.0 beta?
Well, 1.0 is 1.0. Chris Roberts is a phrase, commercially viable game that's a playable game that's stable that people will come back to and play all the time. So I'm assuming that means it's just when Star Citizen officially out. That's the only thing I'm going to describe it as, is when it's officially out.
Well, yeah, I would hope at that point we're no longer in the FOMO stage, and that everything that people got because of FOMO, like you can only customize your Corsair's name if you got the pre-concept sale.
Right.
At 1.0, you should be able to name the Corsair.
Okay. Something else that's uncool, I'm sorry I forgot to mention about this, is that you cannot undo anything that you have on your ship. So I can't go in, like if I don't want the coffee maker out, it's glued to the counter. You know what I mean? I want to be able to take those items and move them into my inventory if I want to, because I just don't want the coffee maker out. It's not a big deal because I like the stuff sitting out there, but I just hate that it's super glued down once you do something. And I would like to have some versatility. And maybe since this was proof of concept, later on that will be the feature, right? That you can use a different coffee pot or a different this or a different bed sheet, whatever. But that's the one thing I do want to give us is some flexibility with the items when we have them. Okay. And anything else, guys, before we move to the last one? The last one's going to be the big conversation for the day. Okay. Let's talk about this one. The F8. Now, we can talk about the F8, about the cool and uncool factor on this. So whichever way you want to talk about the F8, that's fine. But I want to note that the F8 that's on the screen is the executive edition F8. Just so you guys will know, there's a civilian version and then there's an executive version. So if you don't want to talk about the executive version, just want to talk about the regular one, that's fine. If you want to talk about both of them, that's fine. Okay. Meg, I'm going to come to you first on this one. Your thoughts about the F8? Cool, uncool. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I think it's the executive is an amazing. That's definitely one of the only ones that tiered in concierge that I think is freaking cool. What level is that? Is that 10K?
No, 15.
15. Okay. No, I'm not getting there, but I mean, maybe I need that paint. No, I'm joking, but yeah, that looks cool. I definitely own the F8C.
Okay.
And I have no paints to put on that sucker. I feel like a pleb. This is my Saber Raven. I need someone to shove this in my face. Okay. I'm begging. But no, yeah, this ship is freaking cool. I love the way it looks.
Okay.
I haven't flown the executive. I think I've seen it once.
Okay.
Just on a pad somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
If it works anything like the sea,
it does.
Awesome.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking cool. I love flying this thing around.
What's your uncool?
Yeah.
What's your uncool about it? F8. The F8. What's uncool?
I don't. You can't buy it in game yet. I think. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Well, this one you can't. You can.
The executive, no.
Yeah,
but
right. You can talk about the F8.
Also, no.
No. I'm just saying. No, you can't.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Hopefully we can. If we can't, that's very uncool. But I don't want to say. It hasn't been enough time that it should be in game, and it's not in game.
Oh yes, it has.
Yeah,
usually
that's
when ships release, it's usually 90 days. We got this right before CitizenCon.
We need to work on that. And also, I don't know if we're talking about events that lock things behind
I'm listening.
things.
Yeah, keep going.
Like with the F7C to A. Sorry. Yeah, F7C to A. I hated that. We need to be able to purchase the F7A in game. That being said, I'll be a hypocrite. When are we getting the F8A? And that's all I got.
Okay. Captain Jones.
Yeah, I co-sign on F8A, which is the only thing uncool about the F8C is that it's not a F8A. So that's the only thing, but yeah, it's definitely cool. And the executive specifically, it's got the look.
Mhm.
And one thing it has that definitely cool that you don't get with a lot of ships is where it has a different skin on the exterior, but the cockpit
Yes.
also
Yes.
skin as
Interior.
well. So
Yep.
the all in you do as you walk around it from the outside transitions and keeps with you as you get into the cockpit. So
Mhm.
yeah, everything about it is cool. A little bit uncool about the amount of money you have to spend to get to it.
Yeah.
I feel like that always makes anything uncool.
Yeah.
We talked about concierge and levels and rewards before. I think that's a lot of money to spend to get to that
Yes.
ship.
Yeah.
But yeah, the ship itself cool, and the only thing that's uncool is not a F7A.
Yeah.
At one point, and I think this is where a lot of the controversy comes in. At one point, it was a concierge exclusive and exclusive tied to Squadron 42. So
Mhm.
the ability to buy it was tied to you completing a certain difficulty level of Squadron 42, and now that's gone out the door. So we've had all kinds of people mad that they sold it and it was a money grab, and then some people got it with LTI, and some people did, and then some people had 10 years and some didn't. So all of that is a little uncool, but that's not really tied to the ship. I'm hoping that if they would have hid and sold it early,
Yeah.
that maybe that F7C unlock that you got with Squadron will turn into a F7A
Mm.
unlock.
Mhm.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely curious about that.
Mm. My mix is I got mixed feelings about this ship. Cool thing for me. Each year we saw this ship, we would always see it at Invictus, and I always thought that this ship was the evolution of the Anvil series of ships. I never liked the Anvils, the Hornets and stuff that much. Even the Super Hornet, that was probably the nicest one to me, but I never was a fan of their design. But when I looked at the Hornets and the F7s and F7As and all that in the sea, but then when I saw this, to me, this looked like the futuristic version. It was like what we consider the F-35 or the F-22, or what was like a F-16 or an F-15. I could see a design. I felt like it was an improvement on design, and to me, it was the air superiority aspect of it. But the other side of the coin is the misnomer that people looked at the F-7C as the epitome of fighters, when really the air superiority one, to Captain's point, is the F-7 as the F-8A. That's really the superiority fighter. This is the civilian version of that fighter. And a lot of people blurred that and mixed it and felt like, oh, when I get my F-8, I'm going to be able to do blah, 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 blah. Then they got their F-8 and people took their arrows out and kicked some of them's butts because they thought that was just going to be a better ship. So, and then the F7 comes out, right? The F7 comes out. It really messes with people's heads. So some of it has been the mythology of this ship. The fact that it was stacked on top of a $10,000 purchase automatically made people think, well, if you got to pay $10,000 to get it, it must be the bomb. And then of course people say, well, if you spend $15,000, that must be the super bomb. When the only difference is a paint scheme. For extra $5,000, you got a gold and black paint. That was it. So it wasn't like there's any great improvement for $5,000. So the uncool part of it is maybe the mythology that over the years has gotten built around this ship. I think there's still a subconscious pay to win dynamic that existed because of that. Whether that was deliberate or it just grew organically because of the mythology of the ship, I think may have hurt some people's feelings in regard to this ship. I didn't care when CIG said they were going to sell it. I just kind of wondered what was the decision making and why, but not to the point like I got mad or I felt like, well, that was a waste of time. I didn't get into that mode of this thing. I was just curious, but things changed with CIG. Some people felt it was a money grab. I didn't even see it as that. I just saw it as, okay, they decided to sell it. And what I said after that was, don't worry, there'll be something else that'll come out better. And didn't take long, before something else came out that could put the hurt on a F8. But An F-8A. I think once you start getting into those military class ships, the F-7A, F-8A, I want CIG to create something that, because you've now gone full military as civilians, and to me, they need to tie something into that. I'm not saying that they shouldn't provide it in the game. I just think that there's a special leap when you start getting the air superiority ship in this game. There's something to me that needs to make that process happen, not just because you went to the store and bought one. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
The Mac NYC, New York City. What's up? What's up? Thank you so much for that follow. Appreciate that. Other than that, you guys got anything else about the F8 that kind of I guess we all think it's cool. I do think it's cool. I do think the ship is cool. I will say that.
Yeah, another uncool is that the golden ticket thing was a limited time thing that not a lot of people got to get into. I'm really crossing my fingers that when was it? It like overlapped Day of the Vara Halloween, right? So hopefully we see the gold ticket thing happen again this year. I don't know, but I mean, also makes me curious, like if we'll ever see the F7C stuff, like Overdrive again. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll break mine out for you whenever you want to fly it. You let me know.
Oh, I just meant the F8C. I mean, what did I say? Yeah, F8C.
Yeah, not about the executive. I'm saying.
The executive?
Yeah, you
I'll hit you up after.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Let's see. Joy Pop, thank you so much for that follow. Thank you. All right, Cap, you got anything else about the F8? Or are we done with that one?
Cool ship. Only things are uncool. Some of the semantics on how you actually get your hands on one. But yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
Cool to fly. It's fun to fly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
definitely a thumbs up.
Okay.
It's got a lot of it's got I can't talk right now. The weapon rack, it's got a storage compartment. It's got some moving parts to it too. I love the mandibles.
Yeah.
Look at things in the front.
Yeah.
The transforming, ship's cool.
Let me ask you guys a question real quick before I move on past this. Joy Pop, wow, thank you for the Prime sub. Thank you. Amazon, thank you. Let me ask you guys a question. This is one of the few fighters I got in, and when I flew it, it felt like butter. Did this feel differently to you when you flew it, or did it just feel like another ship? Did you feel any distinctive differences in flying it? Because for me, there's a certain level of ease with flying this ship, where other ships I always feel like I have to feel them out a little bit and get used to them. This one, I felt like I got in it and I just flew it and it was like, no problem.
Yeah, I'd say same thing until you get into atmosphere.
That's something I have not done. I haven't flown in atmosphere.
It's heavy.
Somebody else said it's funky in atmosphere. Yeah. Well, it's a big freaking ship. It's a heavy ship. It is a heavy fighter. It's
not a complaint for me.
Yeah.
That's how it
but
flies.
You can feel it.
Just like
you can feel it. Okay.
I definitely agree with the first part you said. Yeah.
Okay. Cap, what do you say? Same thing?
Yeah, I agree. So it doesn't fly as well now as it did when it first came out, but it still feels good. And I think the fact that it lacks an atmosphere is a good thing. It doesn't seem like a ship that should be good in Atmo. So yeah, life's great though.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Cool. Let me ask you both. Since we've gone down our list, is there anything that you guys, something else that you would want to call out real quick that you think is cool in Star Citizen that, you've heard people talk about this as kind of a cool thing? If not, it's not a problem. I'm just kind of curious if there's anything that you would put on the list personally.
Star Citizen? Does that count?
Yeah, sure. No, sure. You can talk about that.
Yeah.
And give me the uncool. Give me an uncool too, though, if you're going to give me a cool.
Yeah, uncool. Not everybody can go, and I'm not sure the limited edition. I think this year it's like it's a Banu something puzzle.
That puzzle, the Xi'an puzzle. Xi'an puzzle.
You can only get that if you go in person. Not everybody can do that, whether that's medical, money, nothing near them. It's kind of that again. Yeah, I'm not a fan of FOMO things, I guess. But yeah, that's tough. But other than that, I mean, there's those events. I'd argue not a lot of gaming communities do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And even when like one doesn't exist, you can create one for your area, and start bringing people together and meeting some people near you, which is really neat. You could potentially start playing with those people, get into a new org you didn't know about. You can be in up to like 10,
Yeah,
it's super dope.
You've been, now how many have you gone to? Because you've been going to the ones in Dallas, right? Is that the ones you've been attending, or is it someplace or no, not Dallas?
Yeah, I haven't been to a lot of the Dallas ones, but been to Dallas, Austin. I guess LA counts.
Okay, yes, you've hit a few. Okay, you've hit a few. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cap, how about you? Anything on your list that you could think of else that you want to add that you think is cool in Star Citizen?
Yeah, I will add to what Meg said. So I'll double dog that. Those outside events, those community events, the community when it comes to Star Citizen is what's actually cool. Whether it's Bar Citizen, which unfortunately I don't seem to get a lot in my area, or BitCon, or even the fact I'm here with my soul friends who are great community builders here, building community. When COVID was here, and the Bar Citizens were to a crawl, we had the virtual Bar Citizens. So I think the coolest thing about Star Citizen is really community to people. Without that, yeah, they could build a great game. It's an MMO, and you got to play MMO with other people. So the people aren't cool, the game can't be cool, no matter what the ship looks like.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Yeah,
well said.
Yeah, for me, I would agree. I mean, one of the cool things about this definitely is our community, and I don't mean the Soul Citizens community. You all are super cool, but the Star Citizen community is definitely cool. And I'm sure, Meg, you've got a community of people that I think is just very unique in relation to many other gaming communities. And I think that's cool. I think the uncool side for me is, the balancing our expectations as a community and CIG communications, Uncool, aspects of how that has just not been over the years refined. I think they do better. I think they've gotten better. But I also know it creates this aspect of tension, of the community's aspects or expectations, I should say, sometimes can be uncool. I think we can sit there every week and hear CIG talk about change, and that still keeps missing us. We still keep missing that things can change. But I can also say it's uncool that at times CIG doesn't convey things in a way that I think would be much more helpful, that the community can sometimes be very adult, even though sometimes we can be adolescent. We can also be very adult, and we can swallow some strong medicine sometimes. And I think we want to hear things. And we're like, okay, it's okay. You can tell us, I know you're trying to protect this or whatever, but we can take it. So I think that's probably my only uncool thing about the relationship of community and CIG. But otherwise, at the same time, I think there are way more positives than there are negatives when it comes to this community and its relationship with the developer. I think it's a very unique one, and I think it's a very cool one. Very, very cool one when it's all said and done. So that's about it. We have hit it, gang. We hit all 13 topics plus a couple of add-ons there. Want to say special thank you to all of you guys for sharing. We were trying to read all the things you guys were saying in chat. You guys are saying a whole lot tonight about what you thought was cool and uncool as well. And you guys shared a lot of great things. I want to talk about a little bit about what we've got coming up in the next week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the next week. Let's talk about what we got coming up. Meg, why don't you talk about what's going on Thursday? Did we lose her? Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, Meg, you there?
Yes.
Yeah, talk about Thursday for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, we have Soul Talk. Everybody can come in and chat about Star Citizen this week. So y'all join in on the Discord, hop in, get active, share your opinions.
Yep. And Thursday's going to be with Fast Card. Thursday nights, roundtable. Come in and have fun. Saturday, Soul Voices with me, one-on-one, talking about stuff that's going on in the Star Citizen community from Spectrum, Reddit, whatever else comes that pops up in my head. We have great conversations on there as well. That's on Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully you guys can join us for that. And then next Sunday, we're doing a show called Trailer Evolution. This one is going to be us looking at, you know how CIG puts out those videos where they'll say update 2 point whatever, but we're going to go through those and look at the evolution of the game and talk about is this in the game, or is it half in the game, or is it not in the game? We're going to be doing this evaluation of the evolution and progress of the development of Star Citizen via their own trailers. And we're going to have fun watching those. Some of them are going to be nostalgic. Some of them are going to be, man, I remember when that came out. That's what got me into the game. That's what we're going to be talking about next week. So hopefully you guys will be able to join us for that. That's going to be next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully you guys can be here for that. I do have one other very quick announcement. We have also decided and talked to Captain Jones about participating and being a part of the Soul Citizens team. And he has graciously said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. Well, first he said, I don't know. And a few days later, he came back to me and said, yeah, I'll do it. So we want to welcome him. And you guys give a shout out to Captain Jones. He came on as a guest. We always let our people come on as guests at first, but he is actually going to become a part of the Soul Citizens stream team. So we are happy to have him, to welcome him on board to be with us. He's going to be a great addition. He's always been a great addition to our community, and we're just really happy to have him joining us. So special shout out to him tonight. Other than that, that's it. We're going to wrap things up. Even though Cap doesn't stream, we'll throw it on Meg. Meg, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitch at yoyoMeg. I usually stream like Monday through Friday, 4 to 8 p.m. Central Time. Or you can find me on Twitter at I am yoyoMeg.
Awesome, awesome. And Captain Jones, tell them they can find you here. Tell them.
Yeah, you find me here with my soul friends. So you want to find me here, find me in the verse.
All right.
That's where you'll find me.
Absolutely. And again, thank all of you guys for being with us tonight. We really appreciate you guys as always. We're going to be sending you guys over to our good friend Maiden Ariana. It looks like Maiden is playing right now. So she's titled Evil Missions Night. So hopefully you guys, when you get over there, give her some love. Let her know that you came over from the Soul Citizens. As always, thank you guys again for all the subs, the follows today. Really appreciate you guys and all the comments. And till next time we see you, stay safe, take care of yourselves. And as always, peace, love, and soul. Take it easy. Bye.